Hi Internet, Euromix is back with another tutorial video and Ableton rack device. And this time the rack device is the Euromix X-Over, which is a really handy utility device that lets you put any effect you want on any part of the frequency spectrum you want. So this is going to be a two-part video where Hammar in the first part is going to show a really powerful way of using this device. And myself in the second part of the video is going to show some more esoteric or exotic ways of using the plugin. So go to euromix.net and download the Euromix X-Over and check out the videos.
Euromix is back with another download and tutorial, and today we're going to give away one of our self-developed plugins from the toolbox that we're using when mixing and mastering for our clients. Today it's all about the Euromix X-Over plugin made by Patrick Siech, and the idea about this plugin is to choose a specific part of the spectrum of where you want to put your effect. And there is a million ways of doing this. A lot of doors will be opened when using this plugin. I'm going to use it as a sort of advanced sidechain. And to be able to tag along in this tutorial, you might have an idea what sidechaining is all about. And if you're not, I would recommend you to listen to Eric Prydz on repeat a few times and then go on YouTube and search for one of the million tutorials there is about it. I guess there is at least. And if you're wondering what the noise is going on in the background, I can say that I got the Euromix CPU reducing fan running on full speed to get the CPU down. I also cleared out all of the channels in my project. This is a song that I'm working at the moment. I froze them and flattened them out, also to get the CPU down. And by doing this, I hope we can make a smooth tutorial without any lags and fuck-ups. So yeah, let's dive right into it. So I'm going to show you two different ways of using the Euromix X-Over tool as a kind of like a surgery sidechain effect. But first I'm just going to go over the project that I have here. It's a song that I'm working with at the moment. As I told you before, I kind of stripped it down a little bit and I bounce out all the channels so they are more or less clean on the channels. Anyhow, I often end up having a lot of channels in my songs, and even if you're EQing and compressing and doing all of those classic tricks, you might still end up having things colliding, especially if you're like me and every project is getting better every time you add something new. So, for example, I have this group here where I have recorded bongos through my AK sampler. I have some loopy stuff and some background grooves. Also, I recorded a little, like an effect tail. Also to save some CPU for my tired computer. It sounds like this. And then I have some percussion from the modular. Just fooling around in the background a little bit. And here comes what I'm going to show you in the first example. We have a bass from the Piston Honda module. And I have a melody. Oh wait, I'm going to actually wait for the melody. We have the bass and the 808 kick. I'm going to tell you that I did some EQing already before I frozen the channels, because you have to. And Still, I'm hearing that they are colliding a little bit, especially in those areas where the 808 is kicking, because it's a quite resonant kick with a quite steep resonance curve of where it's hitting. Normally around 52 hertz or something like that. What I did here is to drag in the X-Over plugin. It comes like this, I believe, when you open it up. I'm gonna fold out these two filters just to show you how it works. And this is also the strength of this plugin. You can actually see exactly where, in which areas of the spectrum your effect will work. And today the effect will be a compressor. I activated the sidechain and I'm choosing to route the kick drum into the sidechain channel on the compressor. And as you all know by now, when you do this, the kick will push away the audio that you have this plugin on. So in this case, you will get this pumping Eric Prydz sound, which is a shame because this bass line contains a lot of information below where the kick actually belongs. We have some, yeah, you can have a listen. As you hear, there's some nice little tones coming in the lower mid, in the high mid also. Pretty much more than just the bass line. And in a case like this, these tools comes in real handy because I can choose where this sidechain is gonna be affected. And to show you exactly how it works, I'm gonna take this down so you hear that it's starting to pump. And by engaging this filter, which will automatically happen when I start to go down with the cutoff, you will hear that it's gradually will start to leave information above where the filter is working, to leave it without a sidechain. So listen carefully now what will happen when I starting to engage the filter. Super pumpy, and now you hear that the bass line is coming back. But what it does is that for now, everything below 148 Hertz will get affected by the compressor, which in fact means that only the bass information is getting pushed away by the kick. I'm gonna go back a little bit on this. And together with the kick, it will now sound like this. So you can hear that all of the information above this filter is still free of sidechain. The alternative would be to go with a normal sidechain, and then it would pump like this. You hear that's a completely different vibe of the song. I want it down here. So this trick it's most useful when you have a bass line which contains more than just a sub. If you're having a sub, then you can just go with a normal compressor. Or if you have a more complex sound that contains bass that's colliding with the kick, this might be the trick for you. When using the surgery sidechain method with use of the X-Over plugin, I believe it's a little bit of a shame of leaving it by just as a bass and a kick balancing tool, because at least in my projects I end up with a lot of channels, and even how hard I go on EQing, there's always things colliding, and it could be a charm, definitely, and it does make the song complete when all of the things kind of work together. but sometimes it just get too much. And in this case, I believe that my group with all of the drums and the grooves and the bongos does collide a little bit with this melody. It sounds like this, and the melody kind of comes in every second bar, somewhere around 200 and 1000 hertz. It sounds like this. And around 200 to 1000 hertz, there is a lot of, for me at least, it's a classic place where percussions and stuff like that is working to get this kind of like low, crunchy, mid groove to push the track forward. And if I would go in and just EQing everything in this area, I will lose a lot of information, and I think that would be a shame. I'm gonna play the rest of the channels in the project. We have 2 melody channels playing kind of in the background, also from the Piston Honda. And with the drums, I believe we have more or less like a finished track. So, moving over to the group, I inserted the crossover effect, and I engaged the compressor, I engaged the sidechain, and instead of routing the kick in, which you normally do, I decided to go with this melody to push away the information that I want to get pushed away in the bongo group. When just playing these two together, it's sounding like this. And when the filter are disengaged and I just go down with the threshold, it will obviously start to push away every time the fill comes in. I mean, this is just ridiculous. It does leave a lot of space for the melody, but it's obviously too much. So, what do I want to do here? I do want to move over to the filter section and simply put the filter where I know that the melody is working. So only those areas will get affected by the sidechain effect from the melody. So I will just go down with the threshold here, keep it really aggressive so you will hear what's going on. I will move up from the bottom with the high pass filter and then go down with the low pass filter and meet somewhere in the middle, where in this area where I know that the melody is working. So it will sound like this. Going up, leave it at around 200. I will do this even more aggressive so you can really hear what's going on. And now I'm going down with a filter. And I leave it around here somewhere. And what I hear now is that a lot of information in this group is actually left untouched, which, I mean, this is crazy much engaged, and still this information is coming through. Which means if I just go back to a reasonable level again, it actually becomes very, very dynamic, and the melody is coming. I can actually go up with the volume a little bit more on this, just to show you how the melody comes through and still keeping most of the groove from the group. And by still having the sidechain from the bass and from the kick, believe that we have a quite dynamic and balanced mix. And the melody comes through, the bass is still keeping all of the nice mid and high information. The bongos is kept more or less untouched, but at the same time the melody comes through. Of course, there's a plenty different ways of using this. This is just 2 ways of doing it. You can choose exactly how to do that. I mean, why not having a pad and let the clap engage it and just put the filter on exactly where the clap is hitting if you think that the clap is not coming through, or whatever. You can put this exactly anywhere. It takes not too long to comes into this. I mean, after I started to do this, I'm using it all the time. And I believe also that you should not use this instead of EQing. You should always do your EQing. Don't forget your EQing. This is only like a second stage mixing technique that can create some rooms in your next dance floor bomb.